Hey guys, welcome back to another GeekJ video, where we make tech, tutorials and gaming simpler and better. Today we're tackling the brand new early access release of RuneScape Dragonwilds on Unreal Engine 5. Unfortunately? I don't know. It's gorgeous but horribly unoptimized, so we'll show you how to pack in UltraPlus, the all-new Optiscaler update, Nukem's FrameGen mod and fake NV API, then swap in the latest DLSS FSR XCSS binaries with our favorite DLSS Swapper open source program. So let's make this game run smoothly and look awesome at the same time. So let me show you how the game looks in its vanilla state with no other, let's say, modifications. So let me go into my AMD Adrenalin software here. We'll go into performance, overlay, and I'm going to enable the metrics overlay for this game. Let's minimize this. And I am going to run the game. Let's press space, and before we go into the game, I'm going to show you the settings we are currently using. We're going to go into the video tab, as you can see over here, and we are using high. I'm going to use this as our benchmark value because I do play the game in the high quality preset settings. There's not a lot we can change here. You can change the frame rate limit. It goes up to 140, or you can set it to dynamic, which I'm guessing is the unlimited kind of thing, or maybe it follows the VSync kind of instruction set. And after this, I am using full screen windowed, so I don't have access to changing my resolution unless I change the display mode. And then upscaling method, it defaults to FSR fast, and I will quickly show you. We have access to NIS, then we have off, TSR balanced, and that's basically it. And the upscaling quality, it says auto and it's on quality. And as you can see, we have ultra performance, performance balanced, quality, ultra performance, and then it just rotates in between those. So unfortunately, for some magic reason, we don't have access to the native AA option that basically FSR actually provides. So I don't know what's up with that. Why do we have to run an upscaler? And for some reason it looks pretty bad. I'm gonna show you actually in game. We cannot disable FSR, sharpness in general. And we do have frame generation and VSync on. So VSync is on by default. I think FrameGen is not. So I'm gonna disable that. And then we're gonna go back. We're gonna hit play. And let's try this world I've already created. We're gonna confirm that we're gonna play solo. Yeah, the game is kind of okay-ish. I know it's early access. But anyway, this is how the game looks. So it's a good time of day. It is very I don't know how to say this politely. It runs very poorly on these settings. I do have a lot of frame stutters, as you can see here while turning the camera. It's not that it looks bad, but because of the immense amounts of bloom, I don't think you can experience that very well through a YouTube video. But yeah, it's like a epilepsy-inducing, not only because of the insane amounts of bloom, but also because the color scheme is like extreme. It's like a neon sign everywhere, and obviously it's very stuttery. If I want to play like this, it's going to be pretty difficult. And as you can see, the upscalers are not looking that great. We could try TSR, just for a demonstration reasons over here. So this is FSR. Let's go with TSR. This is a balanced kind of upscaler, as they say over here, but we don't have access to frame generation and sharpness. Let's see how this looks. It looks a little bit better, but performance is kind of the same. It's a little bit more smooth, if I'm being completely honest here. The performance is probably going to be around the 60-ish FPS, but I'm recording using OBS, so the average is not that great. We could just kill this chicken over here. But yeah, when we get into bigger fights where there's a lot of enemies and, you know, they're using a lot of effects and stuff, things get a lot more stuttery, so your gameplay obviously gets a lot more dicey. But anyway, this is how the game looks in this location over here. Let me go back to where we were, and we will restart the game. But before that, yeah, let me show you how the game responds to the default FSR and frame generation. If we enable frame generation, because this is the FSR implementation, I think it's like the initial 3.1 FSR implementation or something, we don't have access to the VSync option anymore. So as you can see here, it does get smoother. Not perfectly smooth. We do get some stutters over here. We are over 100 FPS in general. Let me drink some water over here, otherwise yeah, every 2 seconds unfortunately I have to drink and eat something in this game. But yeah, anyway, this is how the game looks, and we are going to make some changes, and we'll come back to it and see how the game looks and works. But as you can see, not a very clear image. The upscalers not working the best. Kind of a stuttery situation with the FrameGen, even though we do have over 100 FPS. I don't know if this is gonna translate well into the video, but yeah. GPU is working pretty hard. As you can see, it's in the upper 90s. CPU is fine, but you do need a pretty strong CPU if you want this game to run smoothly. On a 5800X 3D processor, which is the best of the best for gaming on the AM4 platform, and my GPU is a 6800 XT by MSI. So yeah. Let's just quit to desktop, and we're gonna start our modifications over here. So first of all, I would suggest, strongly suggest, we go with UltraPlus. This is becoming one of my universal favorite mods, because the guys and gals that work on this, especially the main developer Sami Lucia, they are amazing. They are working really hard, and they've released their UltraPlus mod for many different games. So let me show you over here. As you can see over here, the latest version is 0.2.3, and there is a bloom kind of mistake by the main guy that maintains the mod for RuneScape. And if we check the UltraPlus community, their own Discord over here, as you can see over here in their own Discord, I need to fix the bloom in this mod, and it was a wrong shape bloom. And the main guy, I think Lazar or Laser, kind of fixed it with 0.2.4, which is not public yet on Nexus mods, unfortunately. So anyway, download the 0.2.4. I will have links in the description below, both for the Nexus page and for the UltraPlus community Discord. So if you guys want to join, their Discord, feel free to do so. It's an amazing community. I've talked about this before in many of my videos, and if you just join their Discord, it's going to be an immense support for them. The more members and the more feedback they get, it's going to be basically amazing for them. So let's go ahead and open up this zip file, and as you can see, it has a folder in here that says RS Dragonwilds. And if we right click on our Steam over here and right click on the RuneScape Dragonwilds game, we can go to manage and then browse local files. And I'm gonna exit out of this, and as you can see here, we have RS Dragonwilds and RS Dragonwilds. So if we move into this folder, we see binaries. Let's go in here. Okay, binaries. Let's go into binaries. Win64, Win64. And then we have these files over here. We can copy these files in here. Alrighty. So it's just a matter of copying and pasting these files. The next thing we're gonna do is edit the UltraPlus.ini file we just copied over from our zip folder. So I usually like to do this with a Notepad++. We can use whichever text editor we like the most. So let me bring this over here, and I have some suggestions over here. So the first thing I like to do is set the bloom to low. Some people like to turn this completely off. I basically like a little bit of bloom. It's more realistic. If you still think it's too much for your eyes, because this game can be very, very bright, you can just turn this off by typing off. Then color grading. I do not like the fantasy color map the developers used in this game, so I just turn it off, and it's a bit more realistic. Super important, DLSS FrameGen, we need to turn this on, because when we install Optiscaler, it's going to use the DLSS DLL to kind of get the data, so it's going to believe it's using DLSS. So if we have this set on off, it's going to be using the built-in FSR 3.1 frame generation variation, but we want to use the latest one. So it's going to be infusing the DLSS DLL with whichever upscaler we're going to feed it through Optiscaler. So that's the magic of Optiscaler. I'm going to leave a denoiser, depth of field as they are. The other thing I like to change over here is motion blur. I like to turn it off in most of my games. Let me see, what else do I usually change? Sharpness, I go with none, because I usually play in the native AA option. In the game menu, it's going to be labeled as DLAA. So I don't think I need extra sharpness, because there isn't any app scaling actually taking place. Then I go to vignette, and I also turn this off. I think I forgot chromatic aberration, which I always also turn off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this by clicking the save button over here, and basically we are done with the INI file. So next we're going to go for Nukem's FrameGen and fake NVAPI. I'm going to have, as always, links in the description below for both of these. We just need to download them either from Nexus or from GitHub. That's your preference. I'm going to have links for both in the description below. And after that, we just need to copy the files over into our Win64 folder of the game. So let's actually do that. Okay, so let's start with DLSS G to FSR 3 by Nukem. As you can see over here, I will have a link in the description below. As I told you before, this is not specific to one game, so it's in the universal tools of Nexus. You can find it there, and be extra careful. We are going to use the first option over here, which says DLSS to FSR 0.130, and we're using this because we have the NVNGX DLL in this game, so we're gonna use the main mod instead of the universal one. So after we manually download this, you will see we have these folders over here. We don't need anything else, trust me on this one. We will just copy over this DLL file with the name DLSSG_2_FSR_AMD_is_better.dll. I didn't make this name, okay? It's the developer of this mod. Anyway, we just drag and drop this in here. I'm gonna refresh, and as you can see, the file is in here. I'm gonna exit out of my 7-zip over here. Next, we need to download the latest fake NV API. So I will have a link in the description below for the GitHub page by Fake Mikau. And sorry if I'm butchering your name, friend, over there. Anyway, we're gonna click on this plus 10 releases as always, and we will download this fake nvapi.7z folder. And obviously after we download the fake nvapi, we will extract everything in our main game folder over here. I'm going to refresh, and as you can see, we have fake nvapi and the nvapi 64.dll. Okay, next we need to download Optiscaler again. You know the drill. Description below, we have the link over there for Optiscaler plus 17 releases. You know the drill by now. We click on this. We need to download this latest version. To scroll down, and we are going to download this over here, Optiscaler V077 Pre9 Daria. As you can see, if we open the archive, we have different kind of files in here in different folders. We're going to grab everything as it says over here, extract all files to game folder. And we're just going to drag and drop this in our game folder. We're going to replace all the other DLLs that it wants us to replace. As you can see, it says AMD Fidelity FX, Fidelity FX VK, and libxcss. So basically these are the FSR and XCSS files it has bundled in, but we can update those later. But to start, we need to install it first. So to do that, as you can see over here, it says Optiscaler setup.bat. So it's kind of different that what we're used to so far, because in the past we just needed to copy over some files and just change some settings in the INI. Now we're not going to do that. We just need to run the setup and select some options from a CMD installer. It's also different than DLSS enabler. DLSS enabler can be a little bit easier because it's an installer and it kind of does a lot of things for you. The bad news is that it hasn't been updated for some time now. It's not too old, but the Optiscaler bundled in DLSS enabler, I'm saying this as a disclaimer because it's okay, but when you press save INI settings through its own interface, when you're in the game, it never saves the settings, and you kind of have to do those settings over and over again every time you relaunch the game. So that was very annoying to me. It was pissing me off actually, so I just updated manually to the latest Optiscaler. So anyway, we're double clicking on this bat file, and as you can see, it is asking us which version of this we're going to use. The default is the dxgi.dll. We're not going to use that. I'm going to press number 3, which is going to use the version.dll, and then press enter. It's going to ask me if I'm using an NVIDIA or an AMD Intel GPU. Obviously, we're going to go with number 1 because I am on an AMD GPU. Will you try to use DLSS inputs? Enable spoofing requires for DLSS FG and reflex to AL2. We're going to say yes. So that means number 1 and press enter. And then it says Optiscaler setup completed successfully. Enjoy, press any key to continue. Bro, gonna press enter on my keyboard, and that is done. We're gonna open up the Optiscaler INI as well and check some of these settings. The only thing we need to pay attention to in these settings over here is in the second category that says FrameGen. Instead of auto, I'm gonna type in Nukems. And basically this is it. I'm just gonna save, and then I'm gonna exit out of this. So before we do anything else, we need to go into this folder that says DLSS overrides, and we're gonna run this reg file, which is a registry file. Disable signature override, not enable, disable. We're gonna run this. I'm gonna press yes, yes, okay. So if you're on an AMD or an Intel card, you need to do this. If you're on an NVIDIA card, I do not think you need to do this. But anyway, we're done with this, so let's move on. Next step, no DLSS Swapper yet. First, we need to do some in-game settings. So we're gonna run the RuneScape Dragonwilds game again. So now we're gonna go into the settings again. Go into video. As you can see, these are our settings from before. We have FSR NIS, PSR. Ooh, we have DLSS, and look at that, we have access to DLAA instead of just quality. And we can also enable VSync with our frame generation over here normally. So give it a second here. We need to restart the game one more time for this to take effect. So let's hit OK. Exit. Now what I want to do is run DLSS Swapper. So now let's move on to DLSS Swapper before we run the game again. And as you can see, we are on the GitHub web page. I'm gonna have obviously a link in the description below. We are gonna choose the Plus 32 releases. We want the pre-release of 1163. Click this little arrow over here that says assets, and we're gonna go to the DLSS Swapper 1163 portable. If you know your computer cannot handle the latest .NET or something, you can try the Net 8 version. But anyway, we're just gonna move on with the portable version of DLSS Swapper. After you extract this, you can see it says DLSS Swapper 1163 portable. Just open this and you can run DLSSSwapper.exe. You can also make a little shortcut over here by right-clicking, drag and dropping it anywhere you want. And yeah, I don't have a shortcut, so I'm gonna use my original shortcut over here. So the first thing we're gonna see is the Games tab. We're gonna ignore it for now, and we're gonna click on the Library tab. And over here, what I like to do, if it's not already done, the latest version, I like to download it. And after we do this, we don't need to individually download the DLL for each game. It's going to use the one that it has downloaded in its library folder. As you can see, I've already done it. So normally it's going to have a download arrow like this, as we can see on the 310.1 version over here. I've already done it for most of it, but it never hurts to check once again, and we're gonna do it for each and every binary we see here. For the app scaler, the frame generation, radio construction, versions of DLSS. We're going to do the same for FSR. As you can see, we have the 313 version over here for DirectX and Vulkan as well. XeSS also, we are using the 20141, the FrameGen version of it, and XeLL version of those. Okay, so we go back to the Games tab over here. We're going to scroll down a little bit. It doesn't have a cover yet, but that's fine. So we have to be very, very careful here because some DLSS binaries work better than others in specific iterations. So for the Optiscaler, I'm going to go with the latest one over here. I'm going to click on swap. I am not going to touch the frame generation binary because I think the 310.1 works best in this game. The ray reconstruction, just, you know, for completion reasons, I'm going to swap it. DLSS already is on the latest version, as you can see over here. Vulkan as well. XeSS, if it's not on the latest version, just go up to the latest version, 20141. Hit close, refresh, and then we're going to exit out of the DLSS swapper. And now we can run our game again. Alrighty, go into the settings, video. As you can see, we can select VSync now, DLSS, DLAA, and we are going to run the game. Start world, confirm. Time of day is different. I'm gonna hit insert. As you can see, the game is using XeSS. I want to switch back to FSR 3.x over here. I'm going to hit apply. It says that frame generation is on and it's using Nukems. The Optiscaler is the FSR 313 and it is using the FSR input values. I'm going to disable this and then click save and close. And as you can see, we are at about 73 FPS on average. It really depends on the time of day and what is happening in the game at the moment. As you can see, the sharpness of the game is a lot higher because we are on DLAA, right? And it's very, very smooth using the latest frame generation. So this is looking a lot sharper and a lot better. As you can see, we don't have a lot of artifacting, if any at all, and no shimmering, no nothing. This is basically, it says DLAA, but I want you guys to understand it's just running the native AA option of FSR 313. So that means we're just using the anti-aliasing part of FSR. So yeah, it looks very, very sharp and clear, and the smoothness of the game is a lot higher in my opinion. I do not have those stutters and it feels pretty good. As you can see, we do have almost the default kind of frame time, which is 13 to 14 because we are a bit above 60 FPS. So that's normal, and frame generation is not adding a lot of latency. As you can see on the top right, it's pretty normal, 15, 13, depending on the FPS we're getting. Very smooth experience. It's raining, which is pretty taxing in this game. But yeah, the game runs really, really well. But the best thing is my eyes are not in pain because of the insane bloom values, and the colors look a lot more realistic. So I normally get a little bit higher FPS around here, but keep in mind I am recording in pretty good quality on OBS, which is pretty taxing on both the CPU and GPU So yeah. But yeah, as you can see over here, we're hovering around 100 to 95 FPS. Really depends on what's happening in the game and what time of day we're talking about, or night, obviously. And what's happening, not only if there are enemies around and stuff, but when there is a weather change or a time change, it really can fluctuate. So yeah, be ready for that. The game is very, very unoptimized. But yeah. Doing this, even if you are on a native resolution setting, with frame generation, you can have a really good experience. Usually I play on a server with friends, so this is my own world, and it's at the very beginning. So obviously, as you can see, if you have any experience with the game, I'm wearing the bronze set of armor, but as you can see, I don't have any advanced crafting area over here. The most basic of basic crafting stuff are in here. So obviously this is not the world I usually play in. But yeah, as you can see, the performance is around 60 to 70 FPS during daytime around this area. It really depends what is happening in the world, what time it is, and all that stuff. But yeah. And there you have it. Dragonwilds running smooth as silk, free from bloom-induced migraines with next-gen Optiscalers and frame generation. If this helped, smash that like button, subscribe for more GeekJ deep dives. Click on that bell to never miss a GeekJ video, and drop your benchmark results below. I'm really curious on what your numbers are gonna be. Follow me on those amazing other social media I have. I know I keep saying this, but we are going to have a stream pretty soon, hopefully, and I'm gonna see you in Dragonwilds, guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye.